every day it's like, let's just blow something out of proportion.
Right.
Let's have something to talk about this Oscars, because we've been dying on ratings for the past few years and whatever else. Please, let's have something to talk about. And again, I like both those guys.
Right.
And I think what drives me bananas is like, and I saw King Richard. That movie is awesome.
Okay.
It's awesome. And Will Smith did a great job. And at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, Chris Rock made a joke, didn't know about the thing, about alopecia, whatever. Will Smith got up out of his seat, smacked him. Good grief. And I just sit back and I'm like, all this over movies, all this over entertainment. So what happens for me, and I may have said this before, I'll say it again. But whatever, and whether it's scripted or not, Jeff, whatever, does not matter. To me, it boils down to something even more like grounded. Man, everybody deals with a lot of stuff daily. When you're a celebrity like that, when you're one of the most famous couples in the world, I mean, imagine what their comment sections look like before all this. Anyway. And then you look at what they probably look like now. That doesn't matter. Chris Rock, what does his comment section look like before this?
Right.
And always, and since, like, I guess the dawn of the keyboard warrior, I mean, these people deal with a lot of stuff that would destroy, I think, any like regular human being that has a regular life. I mean, that's a lot of stress, man. Anyway. And then on top of it, it's like, so for me, I sit there and, like, I guess part of the benefit of the doubt for me is like, how much boiling over goes on, how much actual mental strain are all these people under because of money, because of ratings and viewings and all this. And then somebody slips in a joke that normally at a place you'd be like, oh, come on, man, kick rocks. Right. That wasn't appropriate. But to me, it's like, man, what mental limit are they at to where all of a sudden a joke like that sets you off? Right. And I think everybody's there right now anyway, coming off of 2020, right? 2021 being crazy. Like, and so that's where I guess the basis for me on all of it is like, man, why?
Yeah.
Why are we all so damn stressed out constantly? That's the root to me. That might have been a big monkey-brained run.
That's okay.
That's what I think about with all that's going on in that situation. And then I'm just like, golly, how sad, how exhausting. Look at us. Look at this is the human race. Cool. Look what we've become.
Right.
And I think that's why I don't like talking about it. That's why I get tired of hearing people's like 2 cents on it, because I'm just like, ugh. All right.
Well, I've never really thought Chris Rock was that funny. I mean, I didn't really care for him on Saturday Night Live. Will Smith, Will Smith to me is still the Fresh Prince, but not the TV show. My cousin, he got this album. We had to go to, I don't know what it was, Camelot Music or wherever back in the day, because he had to have this new record cassette. He had to have it, and I didn't know what it was. So he got the DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. And that was the first I ever heard of them. I was like, what is this, man? And it had Parents Don't Understand and
Summertime
come later, but I love Summertime, man. That's a song.
I made a skateboard video to that one time.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a little bit of break from the norm, just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore rap that's got to be a little bit out of control. Smooth. I know that's not all the words, but
I'm impressed. That was awesome. I thought it was great.
Hustle to the mall to get me a short set. I like that lyric. Hustle to the mall to get me a short set. Yeah, I got on sneaks, but I need a new pair because basketball courts in the summer got girls there.
Oh my gosh.
The temperature's about 88. Popping the water plug just for old time's sake. I sung too much. Sorry. That's a great song.
I like it. You don't ever apologize.
But it had all that cool stuff. So for me, when he got the TV show, like I never was really into the TV show. I know that gets me canceled too. That's fine. It was one of those things I felt like the albums were the raw art. We talked about raw art a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like who they were. It was raw, everything. And then the TV show kind of it felt sold out to me a little bit.
Oh my gosh. And I'm a big fan of sellouts, so I don't care what you say, Jeff.
But then, he started doing, I forget what his first movie was, like
6 Degrees of Separation.
I never saw that. I know that show, but I don't know that. Yep.
That was the first play I ever did in community theater.
Was that at Oak Ridge?
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody else that was in that. Aaron Stone, maybe?
No. And that's the thing is I like both those dudes. Like,
yeah.
Of course, and I'll say this about all of it. The basis for me is just entertainment and separation from reality. The fact that all of this to me should have been, if it wasn't, created to keep me from thinking about one pin of insulin that I have left. Right. And so for me, the whole thing's a bummer. It's all a bummer.
Yeah.
Brings
us back around to wrestling. Johnny Knoxville. WrestleMania.
Johnny Knoxville.
I've watching.
Never met him, and he's from here.
I know.
It's a bummer to me.
South Young, man. Down the street.
AKA South Doyle.
South Doyle. It was Doyle. They were South Young. They combined them. And I was in school when they did the whole combined thing. So he's like, what, a year or two older than me, I think.
I still take a kick to the face with it, like the best of them.
That kick, I know, man.
His like brow was bleeding from those goggles.
Oh yeah, the goggles.
Yeah, the goggles would cut his face up.
Well, they fell off at one time, and then he was putting them back on. And she goes, "He's really concerned about those goggles." And I said, "Well, he broke that orbital bone in his eye."
Golly.
In that movie when his eyeball popped out. So that's why he did it.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, he's like a year and a half older than I am.
What a time.
Crazy. Yeah, and his aunt, I don't know if you know this, but his aunt, she owned Broadway Sound when he used to be there.
Did not know that.
Yep. She's on one of the episodes. Lynn, oh God, what was her name? Her real name's Lynn Clapp, but Lynn, he used a name around that's a local, like Lynn Granger County or Lynn Oneida or something like that.
I got you.
Johnny Knoxville. He used that name on the show. So it was really cool when I saw that episode. I was like, oh, that's Lynn from Broadway Sound.
I think it's funny because I grew up with some of his cousins, like actual first cousins.
Okay.
Matter of fact, their dad is Roger Allen Wade.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool. Like, and then I met Roger Allen Wade.
Dumb, you gotta be tough.
And I met him at a bar that he was playing at, and I had on this black beanie and a goatee, and he started calling me the Edge, like from U2. Roger Allen Wade called me. He was like, the Edge, what's up?
Oh, that's funny.
And I loved it, and I was just like, cool. It was fun, like it was cool to kind of be that close to something that I admired.
That's awesome.
And yet I've never met
him either.
Mr. Knoxville.
Maybe he can call us one day. It'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be something? I'm not going to hold my breath.
Nope.
Not going to kick my nuts over and over until it happens. How would you even kick your own nuts?
Well, you know what was funny? WrestleMania was represented, man. It was represented by, of course, you got Glenn Jacobs, who's Kane, and he's actually from Missouri, but of course he's the mayor here in Knox County. And then you had Bianca Belair. She was on the first night of WrestleMania, and she went to Austin East High School, and she won the women's championship on Saturday night. And then you had Johnny Knoxville, who's from right here, and he was on the second night. So Knoxville was well represented.
Oh my gosh. One of these days, if I get famous enough, Jeff, I'll represent Knoxville
at WrestleMania.
You're damn right. But I'd only do it if I got to fight The Rock.
That's right.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
You smell what that guy's cooking. See, that big thing last night was that you had Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. They were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main event of last night. And Roman Reigns, he's Samoan. And he has his two cousins that are with him, the Uso brothers. And they're the tag team champions. And he calls himself the head of the table. So he basically, when he came back as a bad guy, he told his cousins, "You're only here because of me. I put food on the table for you guys when you're little and everything because of what I'm doing." And just really, laid it on thick. So these guys are the Samoan dynasty kind of idea. Well, their cousin is also Samoan, and his name is The Rock.
Oh my gosh.
So
the plot thickens.
So the thought was when Roman Reigns won last night, that The Rock would come out and say, "You think you're the head of the table?"
Oh man. He ain't wrong.
Yeah, baby. I'm the head of the table. And that would set up next year's WrestleMania. And they would fight. Which probably is still going to happen. He just didn't come out last night. So
he should have. But but let's be honest, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is one of the hardest working men in show business.
He is.
And I love him.
My age too, man. Drives me crazy.
Golly. I feel like I'm the size of his arm, like one of his arms. That dude is so jacked. It's so like ripped.
He is, man.
It's unbelievable. If I like put my body together, I'm like the size of his leg. only he's got less body fat in that one leg than I do in my whole body.
Tell me about it.
Or I've got more body fat all over me than he's got in that leg. Anyway. Oh yeah. This is an intense day of conversations on Hump Day conversations.
We knocked it out.
Jeff and Linds. Golly. It's intense though. This one's intense. This one's intense. News Talk Radio.
News Talk Radio.
God, your hair grows. Like you could shave it and then like a week later you have shoulder length hair.
I wish it would grow faster, man. I want it to be long again like it used to be.
Are you kidding? That's what I just said. It's unbelievable to me. Like you have a shaved head and in 2 weeks you have like shoulder length hair.
That's what always fascinates me, like with Johnny Depp. You'll see him in a movie like, Fantastic Beast, and he's got short, spiky, blonde hair. But then when the movie comes out and they do all the press stuff, he's got long hair. And I assume he prefers to have long hair all the time. But I'm like, how do you go so quickly for actors? How do they go so quickly between hair? I've always,
wigs, man.
Think so?
I do. I don't know for sure about Johnny Depp, but I heard that he enjoys like dressing up and going out in public and doing funny things, which I think is awesome. But
yeah,
I mean, if I had that Johnny Depp status, I'd do the same thing. I'd put my hair in dreads or whatever and put a pirate hat on, and then the next day have completely bleached short hair. Like, heck yeah.
Man, if I could, I would walk around like Jack Sparrow all the time.
All the time, huh?
I would. I'd have
Man,
the long dreads and the caps
see,
on my teeth.
I used to wear a lot of jewelry. I mean, I still do somewhat, but I had a lot of rings on my fingers at one time and bracelets and necklaces, and like going to sleep at night, it was like another thing I had to do before I could like lay down was take off everything. And at the end of the day, I was like, man, I'm just tired of taking all this stuff off. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan of accessories, like 100.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, man, it's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of work I don't want to do.
And the older you get, like, and I hate to say that, the older you get, like at nighttime, I hate to go take the clothes I'm wearing off to put the clothes I'm going to sleep in on. I'm like,
yeah.
God, do I have to just take my pants off now?
The PJs, dude. Like sometimes we're funny because here when it's PJ time, it could be at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's like a moment where I'm like, is it happening? And I'm like, yeah, here it goes. And I'll put on my all black sweatsuit.
There you go.
And I will just, I have no shame in it.
Is that like Biggie velour?
No, it is straight 100% cotton.
Well, I don't have much style right now, and I hate it because I used to have some style, man. Like you're talking about all the knickknacks you would wear,
And I love it.
Now I don't. I wear the same pants probably 5 days a week, and they're like these camouflage stretchy pants I got from Old Navy.
Nice.
And they're comfortable, and like I can wear them to Target, or I can change the oil in them.
You know what? You don't have to explain yourself to nobody.
I don't know.
You can do whatever you want, Jeff.
There's that scene in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
That's a funny movie, man. And it's one of those things. It's like I'll quote stuff to my kids. I'm like, oh yeah, there's this thing he says in this movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but you can't watch it.
That's terrible. And
he's like, why would you tell me stuff that's funny and then say I can't watch it, man?
Why can't they watch Sarah Marshall?
Gosh, it's just loaded with stuff that I would have to explain.
Oh, well, like they don't go to high school, do they?
One's in high school. We homeschool, but yeah. Are you saying that if you go to public school, you're going to learn?
You're going to learn
all
everything.
The Kama Sutra?
Heck yeah. You're going to learn everything, man.
Man, when I was in 6th grade, I went from 5th grade being like this innocent, dreaming kind of kid to 6th grade listening to F this and F that and FF and GD and blah, 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 blah. And just everything out of everybody's mouths. And yeah, man, I F this girl at this party. And I'm like, I'm scared to death.
Exhibit A. You're worried about Sarah Marshall. Meanwhile, all they got to do is step foot in a high school for 2 days, 2 hours.
Public high school.
Public high school.
But no, Sarah Marshall. What was I saying about Sarah Marshall?
It was a joke, a line in it.
Yeah, she breaks up with him during the whole scene when she's breaking up with him, and she goes, "You've lost yourself. You wore sweatpants every day for 2 weeks." And he says, he gets mad at her, or mad back, and he says, "You're just mad because they weren't Sean John, but I bought them from Costco."
Oh, now we're talking.
So,
Costco is my place. Oh, Costco is my favorite place to go. That's not like a movie theater. I'm telling you. Is that also when he comes out completely naked?
Yeah.
I thought that was so awesome. I thought that was so funny. Because I was just, and like, he's so serious and so, like, the conviction behind him is so real. And he's just standing there, dong out, just like, whatever.
That's hilarious.
Like, vulnerable. I love that movie too, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a good one. And I like it because of the whole atmosphere and the feel about it. It's the Hawaii and the palm trees and just everything about it has you're just drawn to it, you know. It makes you, it's almost like comfort food in the sense of not necessarily the subject, but in the surroundings and in the scenery and things like that. And I think movies like that are what I'm drawn to as far as like something I can just put on in the background.
Oh man, The
whenever I'm doing
Beach.
stuff. Oh yeah.
The Beach is one of my favorite movies, and
I've never seen The Beach.
I think it's like 75% of that is like the
Gotcha.
environment, the universe that the movie takes place in is just like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I want to go there. I want to do that. I want to travel that way. I totally get that, man. That and Couples Retreat is another rom-com like that, that I'm like, oh, and maybe it just has to do with the beach, man.
I know.
Maybe I just love the beach.
I love
in general.
Couples Retreat.
Yeah, that movie's funny. He says, what's he say? Marcel, get the French out of your mouth.
I think that sharks, is so save funny. Yourselves. The sharks around me. I'm in blood. I'm in blood.
I love that. I love it.
That's a funny scene, man. That whole movie's hilarious.
Great. Yeah, it's really good.
Is he not wearing any pants? Now it's a party.
Now it's a party.
I love saying now it's a party. People don't get it because not everybody knows that movie, but I say it all the time.
I say it all the time. It's like it's part of my lingo once a week. I go, now it's a party.
Now it's a party, and nobody catches it. I'm like, that's okay. But yeah, Couples Retreat and also Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller. Have you seen that?
I feel like I've only seen that movie like twice, maybe.
That's another one of those. He gets married and then they go on their honeymoon to the is it Cabo Wabo?
Cabo Wabo.
Yeah. And it's another one of those movies. It's not for everybody, but I loved it.
I always think about, speaking of Ben Stiller, Along Came Polly.
That was a good movie.
And the thing that I think about it the most is Philip Seymour Hoffman being the child star, and having a documentary follow him around that he's paid for his child star movie Crocodile Tears. And then the scene that I think about the most is when he's on the basketball court and he's yelling off like basketball move slogans or what he thinks they are, and he's like, Iceman, as he does a layup. He's like, make it rain, and all, and he's missing every shot. I think that's so funny.
That's a funny movie. And so is he was good in Punch Drunk Love.
Oh yeah,
that's a great movie.
Sure. Philip Seymour Hoffman's great in everything. Yeah,
he was, man. Moneyball. He's in Moneyball, and that was really good.
Oh, he was great in Money. I love Moneyball, dude.
I do too.
I feel like that's a movie I'll watch like once every 2 months. I'm like, all right, it's time for some Moneyball.
That is.
I also love that Spike Jonze is in so many movies. Just kind of like, it's so
just
great.
Hanging out.
He's in Wolf of Wall Street. He's in that. He's in Moneyball. He's in he just kind of shows up briefly and then he's gone. And I love that about Spike Jonze.
He was cool. Awesome. There was a short film that I was in. What was that called? Shoot, Devils maybe. He was just a local dude that was making some movies. I don't think he does anything anymore. But he was playing this character that basically everything falls apart, and he goes home and his wife is there, but she's also has this love guru that she brought in to talk to them about their relationship, but she's got a thing for him, right? So I played the love guru. That's when my hair was longer and I had like this really guru type shirt I was wearing, and that was a fun scene.
Bohemian.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's great.
I'm not gonna win any awards for it, but it was fun. But that's kind of like what Spike Jonze's character is in Moneyball. Was that character that I played? And
that's where it's like hilarious. Everything's equal. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just relax. We want what's best for her.
Yep. And Leanne Jernigan, our friend Leanne, she who hopefully she's listening to our conversation. She's eavesdropping on us right now, I'm hoping. She played
people listening in on our conversation.
Wait a minute. Is someone listening to us? No, nobody's listening. So she played my wife, or not my wife, but the wife of the guy that I was having this thing with. So she did a great job. She always does a great job. She's the Philip Seymour Hoffman of local Knoxville female acting.
Yeah. I'll go for it. I think it's
that's
cool because everybody knows her too, and she's a sweet, sweet person.
She is, man.
Like she's
Haven't seen her
always
in
been
forever.
super sweet.
There was a spell that we did so much together, and I told her at one time, because we were getting cast together on things like commercials as husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, like all the time. And I told her that we were the we were the Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan of Knoxville.
Oh, geez.
It's hilarious. But anyway,
what would my celebrity logo be for who I am in Knoxville?
I would say, let me step out here. Who would I think? Well, you remind me of Franco, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Thank you, Jeff. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet, man.
Well, dude, I see stuff and I'm like, I see you in Heath Ledger's performances, you know, and Franco too, because, you know, he like, and I know Franco doesn't have a great reputation anymore for all that stuff, but as far as the acting goes, I mean, you know, Kevin Spacey, who Kevin Spacey is, but you can't take away the performances that he gave where he wasn't being himself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not defending anything that they did or allegedly did. But yeah, so I'll see Franco's stuff and I'm like, yeah, I see Linds in that performance, you know. He's like, sniff this jacket, man. Go on, sniff it. You know, when he's the acting with his brother, acting class, and it's like,
you know, I think so funny about that. I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but like, I've been on so many movies or TV shows.
Yep.
Where I had so much going on in my brain that I just wanted to like throw out there or wing it or say, you know, do.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, because I know my place
right
in the script and in the story. And it's funny because you see all these behind the scenes of these actors that just run with it and they ad lib and they do all this stuff and whatever, and it stays. And you sit there and think like, oh, I guess I just don't have it's not the confidence, but it's that sense
status.
Of like, well, they'll just, yeah. And then I realized that's what it was, is like, I know my place, you know, in these situations. And when my time comes to let me run, I will. And it'll be genius. And, but I think it's funny because I always think about that. And I think for a little while, I was like always, like it made me insecure about myself, because I was like, well, I don't take those risks that everyone talks about on these behind the scenes and stuff. And I'm like, it's not my place to take those risks. My place is to make sure that the people taking those risks look great.
Yep.
And it took me a minute to like get my brain around that at one time in my life.
Well,
and I think that's funny.
Kevin Spacey did it on House of Cards when I was there, man. You know, I had the script and I knew what was supposed to be said, but his lines weren't the way they were written. Mm-hmm. And they weren't the way they were written numerous takes. And I was like, that's funny. That's not what is written for you, but it doesn't matter. So, you know, where casting people want us to get the words right and all this stuff in our auditions, you get there and you're like, well, he's just making things up that fit.
And that's the thing that's where the number on the call sheet is so valuable, I guess.
It is.
You know.
Oh, well, yeah. But
time to be alive.
Then he yelled at another actor who didn't get his lines right, or he didn't. It's not that he didn't get his lines right. He interrupted my line one time because I had like a paragraph to say, and I'm in the middle of it, and then he starts saying his lines, and I just sort of like stop and let him. And then I pick right back. I just was trying to follow along with where he was. I wasn't going to like stop. I was going to follow his lead and say, okay, where's he going, to make sure I stay with him. And then I'll pick up there. That's
a guy taking risks that doesn't need to be taking risks.
Well, I honestly think he just couldn't remember. He's old. He was an older fella. Not to say anything against old folks, but I'm an old folks. But he really was not thinking it through. You know, he wasn't pacing himself correctly. And then one time he interrupted me again. He stood up and he stopped. And there's 200 people in the room, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was me." And then Spacey just yells, "Just go with it. Just go with it. Don't stop." And I was like, okay.
Yeesh.
So I remember if I missed my lineup, I was just going to go with it and not stop.
Good grief.
Yeah.
All over playing pretend.
I know, man.
You know, I say that all the time, but I got to remember it's a business.
It is.
At the end of the day.
It is.
And that's where I think that strain and stress and entitlement or whatever comes from.
Yeah.
I just still.
But still fun.
I'm not gonna let myself get caught up in that over playing pretend. Now, if I was saving lives, you know, if I was curing cancer, and somebody comes in there and starts working on their own thing when we've been doing something for, 2 years, I'd be like, okay, look,
settle down.
But
that's happened to me and many other things as well. People come along and start pretending to do what I'm doing, and I'm like, yeah, hang on a second. Let's slow down a bit. Hi there. We just want to say thanks for listening to Hump Day Conversations with Jeff and Linds. We really appreciate it. We want to give a super good shout out to Jacob Boyd with Post Retro for his invaluable guidance as we put this thing together. Go listen to his super swell podcast, Talking Indies in My Undies, wherever you find podcasts. We also want to give an extra super duper shout out to our founding Patreon patron, John Thomas Oakes. JT is part of the We Feel You tier, and by being so, we'll get this shout out as well as written mentions in our video versions and social medias, and we will read and respond to his letter email once per month in a special extra episode. You can find JT every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on John Brannion's Starving Comics Quarantine Show on YouTube. We also want to welcome Katie Berheim from South Dakota to the Hump Club. Katie is part of the We Hear You tier, and by being so, she's going to get this shout out plus written shout outs on all our social media outlets. If you'd like to join JT and Katie in the Hump Club, go visit our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/HumpDC. That's HUMPDC. Don't forget the new episode of our little show drops every Wednesday at 12:12 a.m. on Spotify and iTunes, and at 12:12 p.m. on YouTube, with one or both of us in a live chat as it premieres on the Daydreamer Pictures channel. We hope we can help you get over Hump Day with some laughs and whatnot. Be sure to slap the like buttons wherever and whenever possible, share and subscribe.